Welcome back to Yahoo Finance Live. Shares of Biogen giving up some of its gains from yesterday, despite getting some big upgrades on the back of the FDA approving its Alzheimer drug. Aduhelm, the first drug cleared by U.S. regulators to slow cognitive decline in Alzheimer's patients. It is also expected to generate billions of dollars in revenue for the company. Let's bring in Salim Syed, Mizuho Securities Senior Biotech Analyst. And Salim, you seem a bit like an outlier here at a day where we're talking about so many different upgrades on the stock. $244 price target. We're seeing it trading at $377. Is this the result of what you're seeing from the drug, or are you sort of still holding back to see how much upside you think there really will be for the company?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. Well, look, we're still digesting the information, and the key purpose of our job is to do analysis. So before we put out a new price target, if we do that at all, we're just doing some additional work around it. But obviously, one of the key questions here is how much this drug's going to get used. Consensus is currently expecting somewhere between $10 and $12 billion in peak worldwide end user sales. That is a number that people are going to question, and I think that is part of the reason why we're seeing some of the pullback today. Just given we're gonna start looking at this ramp and what ultimately what percentage of patients who are eligible for this drug could ultimately end up on this therapy.
Yeah, what kind of percentage is that? Obviously, to Akiko's question there, I mean, there are questions around how effective this is going to be. Still a phase 4 trial that could see the FDA, if they wanted to, rescind the approval for the drug, but also the cost, $56,000 a year, along with, diagnostic testing and brain imaging as well. So, I mean, I wonder how much that factors into which one to you is larger there when it comes to how patients might try and access this drug if the cost is too prohibitive to actually pursue that road.
Yeah, so I think there are a couple of key things to think about here. I mean, first, we have to understand that these trials that Biogen ran for aducanumab, it wasn't in every single type of Alzheimer's patient that you could think of. The trials were predominantly done in early stage, mild or even earlier than mild patient populations, which again is a portion of the broader Alzheimer's population, right? So as this drug gets used, if you think about this from a practical setting, doctors who are prescribing this drug aren't just going to come out of the gates prescribing it for anybody. They'll probably likely first start with the patients that are similar to where the clinical trials were, where they believe that, and again, this is a debate, does this drug work or not, or how much benefit does it actually lead to, even though it is an FDA-approved drug now, where do they think they'll be able to see those patients most improve? And then obviously over time, longer term, is if they do get comfortable with it, start prescribing it more. And there are obviously logistical hurdles here. You mentioned the reimbursement as well, and that's something that will play into it. Although one thing on reimbursement that I'd say, the vast majority of patients, Alzheimer's patients, are covered by Medicare or Medicare Advantage plans, and at least those who are covered by standard Medicare. At least the presumptive view right now is that they would be able to get reimbursed just fine.
So, Salim, you said there's a number of variables you're still trying to assess. Let me flip the question and say, if you got a $244 price target, what would you have to see in order to upgrade the stock? I mean, how significant would the market need to be in order to see the potential and the growth for Biogen?
Yeah, so I think what we would want to see is a decent ramp, in the stock. What our $244 price target implies right now is probably about a quarter of that 12 billion, right, end user, right? So, it is on the low end, but as we're doing our work here, one of the things that we're looking for here is, again, what could that peak sales be? We ran an investor survey yesterday. The buy side is now expecting something closer to 7 billion. Which again is probably part of the reason why the stock has come in a little bit today. But generally, what we're looking for here is some more clarity around the ramp, some more clarity around reimbursement. There's obviously competition looming from other drugs. Now that we have one drug, the aducanumab or Aduhelm now it's called, that's been approved on a surrogate endpoint, which is the reduction of these beta amyloid plaques. What about other drugs, right? What about Eli Lilly's drugs? A lot of investors are asking about Eli Lilly and donanemab, right? What if that comes to market? Are we going to have more of a free market setting here in a more competitive situation where it's not one player dominates all or captures all share. So those are some of the things that we're looking at as we're now digesting and doing our work around the launch.
Salim Syed, Mizuho Securities Senior Biotech Analyst. Appreciate you stopping by today. Thanks so much for your time.